let's bring in our rematch. A man who is the host of this show does a great job on his way back home from Toronto. Before we get him on, let's take our predictions. I believe he's in Whitby, Ontario. Steph, where do you think he is?
When did he leave?
I don't know. He left in the last hour, we assume.
I don't know the area that well.
Very well. Eric Thomas, what do you think?
I'm going to say Kingston. He's flying.
Kingston, he's flying. All right, Dave Simon, what do you think he is?
Belleville.
All right, here we go. Let's welcome in our host of the show, King Matthew Ross. King Matthew Ross, where are you right now, sir?
That's a pretty good guess. Whitby, I passed Whitby. I think I passed Oshawa. I'm still far away from Kingston. I think I'm in a place called Bowmanville or Bowmanville.
Yeah, Bowmanville, yes, that's right. It's just after Whitby.
Whitby. All right. Well done. What is all this soccer talk on the show?
Oh, that's afterwards. We're saying that.
That's what I bring you on for, ET, is to talk some soccer.
All impact all day.
Don't worry. We have our. By the way, if you want to tune in at 7:45, Matthew Ross, we are doing our top 5 wrestling tag teams.
I knew it. All right.
Our
fine.
top 5, my friend. All right, let's talk about your trip to Toronto. I know we spoke off air how fun it was for you and your father to go down to Toronto to watch the game with a lot of Expo fans. So describe this whole trip. How was it, the highlights of the event?
Well, the highlight's talking to you, Mokan.
I know, it is.
It was pretty good. I mean, I had a couple drinks last night with Dave Pagnotta from the fourthperiod.com, so that kind of, was a nice way to sort of come into Toronto and relax last night. But today was all about wondering what exactly was going to turn out for this little attempt at having some Expo fans all together in one section, and it was a rousing success. We had about 200 people as far away as California, Vancouver, North Carolina coming in, some from Toronto, some from Montreal, some from small towns in Ontario, and even 84-year-old Jim Fanning, former Expos manager from the 81 team, was there in attendance with his son. They came in from London, Ontario, just for this, to sit with the fans. Jim was actually shaking hands, saying hello to people, introducing himself to people prior to the game, walking around the section saying, "Hi, I'm Jim Fanning. Thanks for coming. Nice to meet you." Posing for pictures. At one point, he got a standing ovation. The usher thanked him for coming, and that was kind of fun. Then we turned our attention to trying to make a little spectacle of ourselves, and we succeeded. Some yelling out at Tom Foley, third base coach, former Expo for 7 years. He turned around, tipped his cap, started clapping, so that was kind of cool after yelling his name out there. We had a lot of press as well. Fox Tampa Bay sent a reporter from their television broadcast over to the section. So that stirred the pot a little bit. As you know, obviously Tampa Bay, bad attendance, and a couple of recent articles recently sort of drawing attention to that. So that was great. We had some national reporters from Canada in the section as well. So sort of mission accomplished. A lot of people sort of thanking everyone for showing up and being able to sort of cheer. We had people showing off their Expo tattoos. Somebody brought a giant Yuppie. People were taking pictures with the Yuppie. So it was a lot of fun.
We're in conversation with Matthew Ross, host of Game Points, alongside Eric Thomas, Steph Mitchell, Dave Simon, and yours truly, Mo Khan. What was the sentiment amongst the fans there when it came to the Expos talk? Was it reminiscing, or maybe the talk of maybe one day we'll have a franchise back in Montreal?
It really wasn't anything. It was basically just, it's nice to be here, nice to say go Expo. It was very funny because we actually had people coming over to the section wondering what this was all about. Including media people who just happened to be sitting in seats or in the press box or what have you, coming over, finding out what it was. But amongst the people sitting in the section, it was just sort of, hey, nice to meet you. Yeah, nice. Yeah, we miss our team, but let's just enjoy the day.
Matthew, we're just talking about the possibility of a team coming back to Montreal, and was there any talk of that at this game today? I know you said basically the focus was on having fun and enjoying a baseball game, but was there any talk of hopefully there maybe being a team someday back here in Montreal, maybe not even of major league caliber?
Not really. A little bit. It was more about when you pointed to a couple of kids wearing Expo hat and not really understanding what it was or what they were doing there. People saw it. Yeah, it would be nice to have something here in Montreal to go to, but for minor leagues, I don't think the minor league idea works in Montreal. I think if it's going to work, it works in Laval, it works on the South Shore, it works somewhere off the island. I think Montreal is a major league town, and to build a stadium of 8 or 10,000 or 7,000 doesn't really accomplish much in the grand long-term scheme of things. So I think if you're going to do something like that, you take the approach of putting it in kind of similar to what the Canadians did with their practice facility, sort of off island.
And Matt, long term, do you see a team back in Montreal and one would hope a Major League Baseball team? Do you think it ever does happen?
I think it happens, but in a long, long time from now, when all the executives from 2004 are long gone in the Major League offices, and certainly teams that are trying to move. I mean, everyone looks at Tampa Bay, but the reality is they're going to move from St. Pete to Tampa Bay at one point. The mayor will just succumb and allow them to move. But it's all about the economy in the United States. If it stays in the you-know-what, then no funding is going to happen. Jeffrey Loria and David Sampson kind of took up all that Florida money, and so Tampa Bay is hard-pressed to find something new. And if they do move, yeah, Montreal is absolutely viable, especially now in compared to 2004 with the multimedia platforms, the big companies that have distribution for content, just like Toronto does with Rogers. It's certainly possible. It's all about the stadium. And we'll see what Warren Cromartie announces this coming month, where he'll be holding a press conference to talk to the fans about something.
We're in conversation with Matthew Ross, sharing Game Points, Eric Thomas, Steph Mitchell, Daysam Mocon here on TSN Radio 990. Matt, did you guys feel like DX, invading, Major League Stadium here, showing up with your Expos gear and whatnot, sitting in the section that you were? Did it bring back a lot of memories, though, in terms of when you were younger with your father, going to a ballpark with him, catching an Expos game on a Sunday afternoon, or a big NL East series when the Expos would play the Pirates or the Phillies back in the day?
Yeah, a little bit. It was kind of fun to just sit and watch a game and eat some, stuff that's not so good for you to eat. It was kind of cool. It was just fun to see other people reacting and chanting and, just enjoying the fact that they were loud. It wasn't, nobody was going to make fun of them for wearing an Expos hat or anything like that. It was just kind of novel, especially to the Toronto fans that were sitting in the same section. Nobody was annoyed with it. Everyone was kind of intrigued, and that's what it was about for us, was just to try and create some talk and some buzz, and I think we did that.
That was my next question, Matt, is how was it received amongst the fans? And obviously a pretty intense game. David Price on the mound, a 9-4 final, so a lot of sparks flying back and forth. But as far as you guys, how were the people around you? Were they coming up to you? Were they congratulating you, or maybe not congratulating, but just saying, I feel for you, I wish the team was still there, it would be nice to have another Canadian club in the mix? Or was it just kind of, well, your team has been gone for 8 years now, get over it?
Yeah, I said the guy who has his Braves team still. No, I think a lot of fans were saying, hey, you know what, it was kind of cool. We had two teams to root for in Canada. So, no, there was sort of an understanding. I don't think anybody was really annoyed. People were just more curious. And then when they realized that Jim Fanning was there, and he had a whole lot of visitors throughout the time that he was there, just signing a lot of autographs, talking to a lot of people. So I really do have to give a lot of credit to him and his son for coming in and helping the day really turn out nicely.
Matthew, before we let you go, the aftermath, are you guys going to keep in contact through the group, or is it, what, we'll see you next year? Will this be a yearly thing for the Expo fans to show up to Toronto for Labor Day weekend, if not for Canada Day weekend type of thing?
I had a lot of people sort of asking if that's the case. Can we do it again? It's a lot to ask people to leave a city and go somewhere else. People were saying, oh, let's do it in Boston. Well, it's not as expensive. It's not as cheap. Toronto, these tickets were $30 and you grab the train, et cetera. But when you start trying to get all these tickets in the same section in a stadium like Fenway or somewhere else in proximity, it just doesn't work. It's just not as feasible. So, we'll see what happens. We'll see what Warren Cromartie announces as well this month. I think it's going to re-energize some people as well.
Matthew, I'm hoping that you guys don't have to make too many journeys elsewhere and that things come back, or at least baseball does, to Montreal.
I appreciate that, Eric. You sound like you're still in Atlanta the way you're talking. You're in Montreal now.
Oh, no. And look, Matthew, nobody wishes more than me that baseball would come back here, because I'd be right there with you trying to catch balls at batting practice.
Fair enough.
Matthew, have a safe trip back. What is the ETA for you to be back in the 514 area code?
Probably somewhere around 10:30. I think we'll put together an article for tsn.ca, which will be up tomorrow on today's sort of festivities, and we'll talk more about it on Tuesday night.
Absolutely. And when you stop off for gas, stop off in Brockville.
Brockville?
Yes.
Should I mention Mocon?
No, but go to Brockville, cheapest gas along the way.
Okay, all right.
Fair enough?
All right, thanks, guys.
All right,
Thanks,
take
Matt.
care. Quite the awkward ending to that conversation, but we thank Matthew Ross for coming on with us. At TSN Matthew is his handle on Twitter.